All right, so I am going to review the 2025-2026 ACE recording template, as well as show you what that looks like on our website and how you submit your requirements. So first we have our general information tab. This just goes over changes that have been made to ACE this program year. Then you've got your pulse checks tab, and that's a calendar at a glance. So it tells you all of the deadlines throughout the year, and then as well as the dates of all of the pulse checks. Then you have your blue tab, and this is your chapter affiliation requirements. So chapter affiliation requirements are baseline items that every chapter should complete to be considered an active chapter. So think of these as more like a yearly to-do list. There are 8 chapter affiliation requirements. So here you'll see what they are. In column C, you will see the deadline for those requirements. In column D here in the purple, you'll notice that some of the requirements have bonus opportunities. In this pink column, column E, those are resources for you to hopefully make completing these requirements a little bit easier. So some of them are examples or links to more detailed information about the requirement. In column F, this orange column, there's directions on how you submit these requirements. And again, I am going to show you that later in this video. And then these last 2 columns are here for you to use if you would like. So if you're someone who likes to track your ACE submissions, those would be a great spot to do so. Now, something I do want to note about the chapter affiliation requirements. Since they are kind of checklist items, right, that chapters should be doing to be considered active, you do not receive any ACE points for submitting chapter affiliation requirements unless there is a bonus opportunity that you've completed. So, for example, if you submit your chapter bylaws, you will not see that reflected on the ACE website for points, right? Because there's no bonus opportunity with it. Whereas here, for submitting your chapter officers, if you submit before or by June 15th, you would receive 100 bonus points. However, if you submitted anytime after that date, you won't see any points at all reflected. So that's just something to know. All right, so then we have this resources tab, and this really goes over the chapter affiliation requirements in depth. So if you're someone who is new to ACE, I would suggest checking out this tab. It's got a lot of links here and also contact information for each specific requirement. All right, then we have our key performance indicators, and this is where a bulk of the points come from. So you'll see we have several different categories here, and then we have different tiers. So for membership growth, you have to complete tier 1 before you move on to tier 2. And same thing, you have to complete tiers 1 and 2 before you can complete tier 3. Now, the bonus opportunities, they can be completed at any time. You don't have to wait to complete all of the tiers to receive the bonus there. And again, this last category, or this last column, is just for you if you would like to track the amount of points that you have earned throughout the program year. All right. And then this last tab on the bottom is membership growth. That's going to go with this row of requirements. So that's there for you to use. So if you're trying to see what is 10% of your annual growth, you would go to this tab, you find your chapter, and then it's going to tell you how many people you should have in your membership in order to meet each individual goal. So now I'm going to go ahead and show you what it looks like on our website. So 2 different ways to get to the ACE requirements. First would be by logging into my AGA, and on the right side here you'll see a link to chapter resources. Now alternatively, you can type that in the search bar at the top and it'll pop up for you as well. So once you get to chapter resources, you're going to find achievements of chapter excellence and expand that. All right, so I'm going to just start off by talking about the data recording form here. So once you click on the data recording form, you're going to land at this page. And right now I'm looking at my chapter affiliation requirements, and I know that because of this white box. That's indicating which page you are on. So here it just lists all of the requirements again, and then it notes whether or not you have completed that requirement or not. So for example, for requirement 1, obviously here it was completed. However, for requirement 2, notice there's nothing in this box because it has not been completed yet, and another indicator of that is that button. So once you do upload a form and press submit, the button will go away and it will just show that it is completed. Now, let's say that you review your bylaws mid-program year and you want to update those. You're going to click on this button to request changes, and then we will work in our system to allow you to do a new upload for that requirement. And then another thing I just wanted to note here was kind of, again, the difference between chapter affiliation requirements and key performance indicators. So notice here for bylaws, it just says completed, whereas here for chapter strategic plans and goals, it shows a bonus. So I was given points for that. So if I look back at my recording form, see here the bylaws does not have a bonus opportunity. So therefore no points are awarded for submitting bylaws. It's just something that you need to do as an active chapter. Now if you go down here for strategic plans and goals, there was a bonus opportunity. So I was awarded 100 points for completed that on time. All right, so that is your chapter affiliation requirements. And then you have your key performance indicators on this side. So very similar here, it lists all of the goals, and it gives you a status, whether or not it's complete, the tier amount of points that you got, and any bonus points if applicable. Okay, so just scroll down, take a look there. Now, for this one, you'll notice the button is still here. That is because the tier points, it typically changes, right? What you have for the first pulse check might not be what you have for the second pulse check. You might have moved up tier. So you are able to go back in and make changes to those tiers. And then for those that you did not complete, you just will not see any sort of status box to the right. All right. Okay, and that is the data recording form. Okay, so now I'm going to talk about the chapter pulse check, which is located in the same spot on our website. So again, you're going to go to chapter resources, scroll down to the achievements of chapter excellence section, and expand that. Then you're going to press this chapter pulse check button. Now, for the chapter pulse checks, it's really just a review of all of the requirements that you have completed thus far throughout the program year. You shouldn't feel obligated to, be submitting anything else in addition to the pulse check. It's just a way to, kind of like how it sounds, to check your pulse, your chapter. And then also just to check and make sure that what your records match our records in regards to ACE. So you'll notice that this page looks a little different now. It's gotten a makeover. So it will list your chapter. It also has the points for the ACE award status levels, so that you can see that. And then it will also tell you what your current ACE award status is. So for this one, it's currently at the bronze chapter. And then down here, it gives you a little bit more metrics for that. So this tells you the total bonus points, as it says, and that includes both the chapter affiliation requirements and key performance indicators here. The total tier points, because like I said before, you don't get any points for submitting chapter affiliation requirements unless they're bonus. So you're really getting a bulk of those points from your tiers and the key performance indicators. And then obviously your total points, which adds those two together. So that kind of tells you where you're at, and then that falls in bronze. So you're receiving a bronze there. Okay. And then you're going to scroll down. So again, we're focused on the key performance indicators because it's white in the background there. I know it's flip-flopped, but the reason we put that first is because, like I've said, it is where you're going to get a lot of points from. So again, just an overview, what kind of status did you choose, your points, bonuses, whether or not it's completed. You can just go down and review that. So make sure that what your records indicate match ours. I know that there was a lot of updates with the website, so just want to make sure that you're getting all of the points that you deserve there. And then you can also check that for the chapter affiliation requirements. Just scroll down. Once everything looks good to go, you press this submit button in orange. If you want to add comments here, you can, but you don't have to. And then you press submit. And then once you're done, you should receive an email confirming that you submitted your chapter pulse check. And that is all.